when clients come in and they have a problem with lawsuits or garnishments, typically there's a few permeations on what's going on. I mean, one, you get the guy who's just getting phone calls. He's getting harassing phone calls from his creditors, and they're just threatening, you know. So he's already a little bit nervous. He's already a little scared. They're saying, look, we're going to take you to court. We're going to try to collect on you, you know. Or you get the guy who just got tagged with a lawsuit, you know. The sheriff, you know, arrived at his house with that little pink sheet, you know, that says you have 30 days to respond, you know. And, you know, once you get that time's ticking, I mean, you have to do something. Because in that situation, if you do nothing at all, you know, if you don't file a response, you know, the court is automatically going to enter a judgment lien against you. You know, you lose without even having said anything. And then you find some people come in and either the judgment lien is already in place, you know, they're already being garnished, you know, or they don't know that the garnishments are there. They don't find out till they get here. You know, we usually pull a credit report on everybody that comes in, and one of the reasons we do that is because it helps show up those sort of things, you know, that there may be a judgment lien out there, okay? And, you know, what you really want to think about in terms of dealing with those things are a couple. I mean, one is, you know, if you're just getting those threatening phone calls, the filing of a bankruptcy, whether it's a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13, is going to put in place what's called an automatic stay, which means that creditor's not allowed to contact you. They're not allowed to try to collect from you, okay? Which means it's going to stop it right in the tracks. They don't even get to file the suit, okay? Second situation, let's say, you know, you've already got tagged by the suit. Your 30 days are running. You don't know what you're, you know, going to do. You know, maybe you have a defense to the lawsuit. Maybe you don't. If you file the bankruptcy during that time period, again, it's going to put a stay in effect. So you don't even have to defend that collection action because the bankruptcy stopped that, you know, suit basically in its tracks before they got that lien, you know. And the third situation is basically where you see folks where, you know, the lien's in place, maybe they didn't know about it, maybe it's been sitting there drawing interest for years, you know, and they sort of feel like, well, it's too late, you know, I might as well pay it now. Well, that's not the answer, you know. You can take that lien, that judgment lien, and put it into a bankruptcy. And the Bankruptcy Act, the code actually gives us a lot of power over judgment liens. And one of those things is if, you know, if you don't have any equity, if you don't have anything for that lien to attach to, and most of our clients don't, okay, we can void that lien, you know. We can put that creditor back where they were to begin with. Because that's the whole point to a creditor, you know, trying to sue you and to try to get a judgment lien against you, because what they're trying to do is improve their position over you, because that suit, you know, is going to give them that judgment lien, and there's, you know, several things you can do with that judgment lien. You know, if I'm a creditor and I have a judgment lien against you, I want to do one of a couple things. I mean, first off, I'm going to think about garnishing you, okay, because your cash, that's the easiest thing to get, right? So I can take that, you know, that judgment lien and turn it into a garnishment. And for most of us, that means that they're getting 25% of your income, okay, which is going to throw your budget out of whack, right? It's going to cause major financial problems for you. It's going to make it hard for you to make your house payment. It's going to make it hard for you to make your car payment. It's going to make it hard to put food on the table, okay? Another thing that they can do with that judgment lien that they got from the lawsuit is they can levy against your bank account. You know, if you have non-exempt funds sitting in your bank, you know, unprotected money, they can grab it. You know, they can freeze that account. They can pull your money out. And if, like a lot of people, you know, you're having your money direct deposited, all that new money that's going in there is getting frozen too. And then your checks are going to start bouncing left and right, and you're going to have a huge problem, okay? The other thing they can do, sort of a last resort for a lot of creditors, is they can actually levy against property, you know. If you have a house with a lot of equity in it, or you have a car that's, you know, paid for that may be of value, they can actually try to use a judgment lien to levy against those things, to file a lien against your property, okay? Well, you don't want any of those things to happen. So, you know, what you want to do is file some kind of bankruptcy, whether it's a Chapter 7 or whether it's a Chapter 13, because, you know, they've improved their position by having that lien. You want to put them right back to where they started. And by, you know, how you do that is you void that lien, you wipe it out, which just makes them a regular, general, unsecured creditor all over again. Now, if you're in a Chapter 7, you're wiping out those general unsecured creditors. You're not paying them anything. If you're in a Chapter 13, you still may be paying them nothing, you know, or you may be paying a percentage of what's owed, you know, depending on what your Chapter 13 plan says. So it's, you know, very effective way of dealing with those things. You know, the garnishment, if, you know, that's already in place, you know, a bankruptcy, whether it's a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13, is going to stop that garnishment. It's going to stop them from taking that money out of your check, you know. If they grab money out of your check after that bankruptcy is in place, they're going to have to refund it. So the bankruptcy code gives us a lot of power over dealing with those lawsuits and judgment liens.